It is so great to talk to you today. I'm so excited about this series. There's really nothing quite like it on TV, which is what I love.
I think that's
How
true.
did
It's
you
a genre that we haven't seen for a while. It's something like there's action, drama, comedy, science. Like there's a lot in there. I agree. Someone else, a friend of mine, pointed that out and said I hopefully could bring the genre back. And I really hadn't thought about that yet. I think it's something that we're seeing a lot in films, but we haven't seen it on TV for a while.
and I think even horror, there's elements of horror in there too, and everything else. It's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah,
So
there is. I look
how did
forward
you
to.
approach playing him? Like it's so fascinating to see a character transposed not just from book, from film to TV.
Yeah, I don't think we thought about the films that much. I think there's just so much in the books. There's so many clues in the books. I think, and this was all retrospective. I don't know how much was by design, but we're just very lucky that this story had been skipped in the films because it makes for such a great origin story because it's this story that's personal to him. It's about a family that defined him, about a relationship that challenged him. So it it makes for a very good way to explore his first adventure and then to challenge him. So that was like that one, we were lucky we had this story. Two, we had this mandate of making a younger version, so like we can lean on everyone else's like enjoyment of the character. Everything like that's not something that holds us down. It's something that we reach for. And otherwise, like it's just mining the books for clues and trying to take what's useful and see what threads we can pull at.
Are there elements of the character that you really identify with, the things that you gravitated towards?
I do. I think from the beginning, because I hadn't read the books before getting cast. But the pilot script itself, it raises something that's occupying me now. I think there's a world conversation between fact and fiction, which is fascinating. And I think what I saw was that at the center of it, there's a guy who's a zealot for fact. And he's so knowledgeable that it makes it very hard for him to believe anything that he doesn't know to be true. And that's fine when it's about myth, but then what happens when it's also about his own feelings? And I found that that's very much something I connect with. And that was something like it's a guy that's occupied by his mind and has very little connection to his heart or to his instincts. And then we get to explore that throughout the show, why that is.
I love the fact that he has this strange confidence because it's not a normal like machismo or anything like that. He's got a strange inner confidence that never wavers once it comes out, but until he gets to that point, it always seems like he's a little unsure, maybe.
I think that's true. I'm glad you saw that. That is what we played with. I think I enjoyed the fact that he was a guy that's only confident once an argument started. Up until that point, he doesn't really know how to connect. But as soon as there's a conversation or something he knows about, he'll destroy anyone, and that he can get a lot of confidence from that.
What's the most fun about this role? Because I mean, you get some vocabulary that most shows can't boast, but then you've also got action sequences and you've got actual dramatic acting mixed in there. Do you have a favorite bit?
Yeah, I think I'm always drawn more to the like. Also, the writing's so strong that it reveals itself constantly, and so it is in those dramatic scenes that I often leave having discovered something and things being different to what I expected. And that is what fills me up. Like that's what makes me satisfied. All the rest, of course, fun. If you've seen like there's some big action sequences that were a lot of fun, and it's a real challenge. But what really fills me up are those scenes just when two people are working at cross purposes and they're having trouble with each other, and that is what I enjoy.
Can you talk a bit about some of your scene partners, because the cast is really great and they all lend such a different energy to the show?
Yeah, for sure. A friend of mine once said that, like, when he's putting a cast together, he likes to think of it as like building an orchestra. That you don't want two of the same instruments. And I think that's real. It's very true. And I think it's what we have here. It's such a joy. Everyone, I go from character to character, and everyone, and I change because of that interaction, because of who it is that I'm in front of. And Valerie Curry, who plays Catherine, is extraordinary. And there's so much that we just find in scenes, and that it's just it's been an absolute pleasure. And then Eddie Izzard and Somali Montano and Rick Gonzalez and Bo Knapp, like it's been quite remarkable, like how much we are all throwing of ourselves into it. And I think you feel that, like, between action and cut, there is a lot that's happening.
One character almost dies in the first episode, and I was literally terrified that this character was going to die. And I don't want to spoil where that goes, but I love that in one episode I can fall in love with characters enough that I'm like, no.
I just got chills. I exactly. And what an achievement of storytelling, and also the way, without giving away anything, that actor performs that is really, it's quite special. And I think it's what goes back to what you said at the beginning, that it is a show that works on so many levels. And I don't think we could be like, I don't think an audience would be that invested in esoteric puzzles in action if we didn't feel something for the characters at the center of it. And I think you really do feel, I only want to speak wonderful things about the actor you're talking about, but I don't want to give anything away.
Well, the other thing I have to talk about is the wardrobe, because, there are very few characters that have a certain wardrobe that you expect. But the second I saw you in the show, it immediately felt like that was the right outfit for him. Did you feel the same?
I did. And it took me a second to get there, but Dan Trachtenberg, who directed the pilot, he said something, it's hard for me to think about it in these terms, but I really could appreciate it. But he said, I want it to be something that someone might want to dress up as. And I thought that was, I can't think about those and things in those terms, but I thought that was a really nice thing, that this is something that you want to, you want it to be identifiable. I also loved that something we tried to do with him was, put his, like, where he's comfortable is in every time that except ours. So he doesn't wear very modern things, but somehow it's like a collection of different styles that somehow work and congeal into something that sort of makes sense. And I like that outfit in the pilot it felt almost Western. It was sort of like academic Western.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I really thank you so much for the time. I can't wait to see the rest of the season. Really best of luck. I hope to talk to you for season 2.
Yes, please. All right.
Have a great day.